Oh, the Starwing flies tonight through the endless cosmic light. In the blackness it will soar to the galaxies we explore. With the crew so stout and true, and the technician proud as few, he keeps our ship in flight through the darkest of the night. Raise a cheer, the stars are near. On the Starwing we won't fear. With our work we'll never tire. Among the stars we'll fly higher.
What's up, shipbuilders? I know that wasn't the Valentine, and yes, it was more than a bit absurd, and I couldn't bring myself to alter the Valentine's beautiful tunes. It just wouldn't be right, though it would be a lot better. So before we dive into the detailed build, one important note: Bethesda's Starship Design Contest is still open for voting for another full week. The Starwing has gained a lot of ground, and it isn't too much of a stretch for a top 3 finish. If just 1% of those of you that watch this video vote for the Starwing, it would run away with the victory. And again, it is one of only a few all vanilla, no mod, no glitch builds in this contest. So for one last shameless plug, yeah, that's enough. Alright, let's look at this ship. As always, we're using the most powerful ship components in the game because a ship should not only look good, it should perform good too. Now right away, you'll notice the beautiful Pinch 8A reactor, which provides a significant boost to this ship's hull. Hull acts as a ship's health points, and your reactor is the primary source for it. This reactor has nearly 45% more hull than the next closest reactor, while still providing a near max 36 power points to allocate, which is actually plenty given a secret I'm going to share about one of our weapons. Next, our shield, the 28T Defender. I believe this shield to be the best shield in the game. It has the second highest total shield health, 1500, just below the Assurance shield with 1600 total health, but at nearly half the mass. But even better, the 28T Defender regenerates health points faster than any shield in the game. That, coupled with our high hull value, means that this ship's defenses are the best in the game. For engines, we're using the SA-4330 engines. These engines are some of the top performing engines over and above their own mass compared to all other available engines, and that comes with their high Class A top speed. There's only one engine faster than these, the White Dwarf 3015s, but we're able to haul a bit more cargo and mass with these Slayton SA-4330s. Now, for weapons, we want weapons that deal the most burst and sustained damage, and that is exactly what we've got on this ship. The Vanguard Obliterator auto projectors and the Vanguard Hellfire autocannons are two of the top burst damage weapons in the entire settled systems. The Obliterator autoprojectors benefit from two separate skills, the Energy Weapon System skill and the Particle Beam Weapon System skill, making their already high damage output even better. And the Hellfire autocannons destroy enemy ships' hulls faster than any other weapon in the game. Plus, these are both auto-firing weapons, meaning they come with a full magazine of ammo, so even if you underpower them, you're still getting their max burst damage output. Paired with these weapons is the Obliterator 250 MEV Alpha turrets. These turrets output the highest amount of sustained damage in the entire game, and it isn't even close. But even more importantly, you can allocate just 1 point of reactor power to them and still deal that level of damage. And that's because their recharge rate is faster than their attack delay. Not only that, but these weapons benefit from two separate skill trees as well, the Particle Beam Weapon System skill and the Automated Weapon System skill. So if you've maxed these skills, these weapons are basically a cheat code. Now, before we actually dive into the piece-by-piece build, a shopping list to get us started. The first place you're going to want to go is Titan in the Sol system, and specifically New Homestead. You're going to want to visit the ship technician there because they have a few unique parts that we're going to want. So from the landing pad, just walk over towards the Trade Authority kiosk and find this ship technician.
Okay, no problem.
Now this ship technician deals in Nova parts predominantly, and we're going to want a few of those. Specifically 2 of these Nova cross passages. So get 2 of those, and then go over to the landing gear and get 2 2 of these NG20 landing gear. You can always change the variants or flip parts later, but you can't buy parts from all vendors. So get those parts specifically from New Homestead, and then we're going to go to the Nerion system, specifically to Stroud Eklund Star Yard. Head over there, you're going to have to fly to the Star Yard and dock. I need to readjust some power to my engines. Boost on the way. Once we dock, we're looking for somebody named Havershaw. Havershaw is basically this Star Yard's version of the ship technician. And not only do they deal in Stroud Eklund parts, but they've got some extremely powerful weapons and reactors at this Star Yard. So sometimes you'll find Havershaw at this little desk here, but if he's not there, look around the corner in this little makeshift cubicle.
Are you ready to do some business? Let's get you set up.
Now we're going to want to pick up a number of different parts here. So to start with, you can get the reactor here, the Pinch 8A reactor. You can also use the Pinch 8Z if you want, but I prefer the Pinch 8A for its hull points, as we talked about earlier. Now we're also going to get the SA-4330 engines here. You want to get 6 of these. Again, we can always flip them later. We're also going to want to get either the Kontiki B600 or B500 bridge. I think we're using the B500 on this build, but either one is fine. And then for weapons, might as well get our weapons here, the Vanguard Obliterator auto projectors, the Vanguard Hellfire auto cannons, and those Obliterator turrets. If you want a different weapon loadout, this vendor has some of the most powerful weapons in the entire game. You can get the PBO-175 auto helium beams here, you can get the Exterminator 95 auto helium beams here. So if you're looking for some powerful weapons, this is the vendor for you. While we're here, we may as well pick up the 20AT Defender shield as well. We're going to want that, and this vendor has all the powerful shields in the game, so go ahead and pick that up. Now for the rest of the build, I always go to my outpost landing pad, because for all the various structural pieces, the outpost landing pad has the most variety. For this video, I built my own landing pad with my own landing pad ship vendor, and it has all parts across all vendors in the entire game, so I'm going to go there. But if you don't have that, or if you don't have mods enabled to do that for you, the outpost landing pad will have the most variety of structural pieces, and so that's where I typically go to finish my builds. Alright, now like I said, we're going to build this from scratch, so I'm going to delete the entire ship, and we're going to start by just laying out all the pieces that we're going to need, starting at basically the beginning. So again, the SA-4330 engines, we're going to end up wanting 6 of those, but we can clone those later. For a landing bay, we're using the NG6 landing bay. It's got kind of a nice nose shape to it. For cargo, not a whole lot of cargo on this ship, but I did fit some on the sides. These Caravel V102s are a little slim to fit on the side, so they're not too noticeable and get us a bit of extra cargo space. Again, the Kontiki bridge, the B600, or I think we're actually using maybe the 500 on this, which is a little lower mass. But cargo per mass on cockpits and bridges is the most efficient way to get cargo in this game. For dockers, we're using this 110 docker flipped upside down. Now again, engines, we already put out the SA-4330s. For fuel, the M50 Ulysses tanks. We're going to have 2 of these. These are actually the second most efficient fuel tanks in the game in terms of fuel per mass. And our landing gear, get those NG20 landing gear, again, the 2 of those. For our grav drive, if you've watched any of my videos, you know I choose a grav drive to just choose one that gets you at least 28 light years of jump range based on your ship's mass, and so that Aurora 13G will do that for us. For HABs, we're going to want a 1x1, some 2x1s, and a 3x1. You can choose whatever vendor model you would like, and whatever version of HAB you would like, but those are the sizes we're going to want, so I'm going to lay those out here. again, choose whatever type of hab. If you want an armory, a workshop, infirmary, whatever you want there. Now we know we want the pinch 8A reactor, so let's place that. And our 28T defender shield. Now if we use multiples of these parts, I'm just going to copy them or clone them as we go through the build. So I'm not laying out the number of these that we'll need. We can always copy them later for the correct vendor. An equipment plate and that porthole, we're going to want some of those. This Deimos belly flipped to face aft, and then we're going to want some Deimos bumpers. We're also going to want some Deimos spine pieces. Oh, and this Deimos cowling as well. So we'll want Deimos spine A, and then we're going to want Deimos spine B as well. And then some of those Deimos wings, A and B, variants of those. Alright, now we do use a couple of these Hope Tech risers. I'll show you where those go later, but those are critical to keep all the pieces of this ship connected. And then some of these Nova cowlings, specifically this 2L-TF. We're going to use a bunch of these in different variations. So flipped and facing the other direction. So we'll copy that one quite a bit. Now I forgot to get out our Nova cross passage when I skipped the Habs tab, so we'll get that out. And then a lot of these Stroud Cap A's flipped in different orientations. So we're going to use those. And then there's a couple of, it's another Stroud, is it a cap piece? Here it is, nose cap D. So those are on the very ends of the wings there. We're going to end up with 4 of those eventually. We'll just set out one for now. All right. A lot of different pieces on this build, and we use a lot of them. So we'll go slow, follow along, do it piece by piece. We'll start with the landing bay, and you'll enter into a 2x1. So I'm going to copy a 2x1 and set that on top on the back end of the landing bay. And then the docker will go underneath that. We'll grab this Deimos belly. We'll put that behind the docker. The grav drive will sit on top of that. Let's move this to give us a bit more space. Now, this Nova cowling, again, you'll see I've changed the variant so it's facing backwards and flipped it upside down. It goes behind the grav drive. We're going to end up cloning that piece quite a few times. So again, clone it, change the variant, put that in front of the 2x1. Let's clone it again, and one more time and change the variant so it's pointing forward. Then we're going to clone it and flip it, clone it and flip, and then grab that 3x1 and place that right there. Now for 2x1s, I usually use a computer core or the control station and/or because they have crew slots, and I like to have a bit of crew on my ship just to get their perk bonuses. Put the reactor on the back, and the fuel tanks will sit on either side of the reactor. Gotta drop that and pick up again so I changed my camera angle. There we go. So go ahead and clone that and flip it. Put it on the other side of the reactor. And then clone this 2x1. I'm going to make this a control station. You'll see that has 4 crew stations. And then we'll have this Deimos cowling in front of that. So you see we're already forming kind of the main nose, main fuselage of this ship. Let's go ahead and grab both of these Deimos spines. These will come in front of that Deimos cowling, just to give a nice pointed look down the nose. Grab our bumper and our Deimos wings and bring those over here. Let's grab the bumper. That'll go on the 2x1 just behind that Deimos cowling. And we'll clone it and flip it, put that on the other side. And the Nova Cross passage will sit just behind that. So this Nova Cross passage is the one piece that connects to each wing on either side. And then the bridge, we can put that on the top here, just in front of the reactor. Let's put our Deimos wings on, and that'll mostly finish up this main fuselage. So again, cloning and flipping to go on either side. The B piece right behind the A, and then we're actually going to clone the A piece, change the variant so it's backwards facing, just like that. Alright, now I can start to work on the wings. Grab this 1x1, and that'll go on either side of the Nova cross passages. And this porthole will go on each of those. These, if you wanted to decorate the inside of your ship, make kind of a cool gunner's seat, because we're going to put the Vanguard Hellfire autocannons right in front of those habs. So that's kind of a cool spot. I forgot to put these cargo pieces on, so we'll put one of these on either side. Just kind of tucked away underneath. So it gets us a bit more cargo, but hides these underneath those Deimos wings, so we don't really see them. Alright, now let's work on these wings. These wings are made by these Stroud Cap A's, and flipping these upside down and changing the variation so they're facing frontwards and backwards. So you'll see I'm going to clone it, change the variation by using the D-pad, and put it on the back. I actually think I have these facing the wrong way. Yep, so I'm going to flip these. Copy that again, it's just easier, less button clicks. And so these give us a little bit of a slope, and you'll see how I flip this upside down, and it will attach like that, which gives us connection pieces on the top. So I'm going to copy both of these and attach them to that one I just flipped, and put them one connector point forward, because that gives us the swept forward wing look, which is what I want. And then we'll grab a copy of this nose cap D, which will be the backbone, so to speak, or the spine of the kind of the ends of the wings here, which these Nova cowling pieces will cap on top of. So we have a lot of variations of these. And if you've seen my old Starwing, or R-Wing, excuse me, the Star Fox R-Wing build, I kind of do something similar with these Nova cowling pieces, and then tuck the weapons kind of within the wing, the opening here, which is kind of fun. Gives a bit of a menacing look. And so that's really the shape of that wing. Now we got to do the bottom part of the X, so we'll copy this cap A, flip it a few times. This is how we get that sloping, kind of angled wing that's also swept forward. We do this a little bit on the Klingon Bird of Prey build, although it's not swept forward like this so much. And also do it on the Romulan Warbird, which those are swept forward. So if you're interested, go watch those videos. You can see how those are put together. Now I'm going to copy all of these pieces and just bump them down and attach them, because they're all the same here. You can see where those attach. And the one nuance here is we actually need to put our landing gear on this. This is the lowest level of the ship, so we got to have landing gear on the lowest level. And that's where these risers come in to keep things connected, because you'll see these landing gear don't have connection points on the front or the back. So we'll delete out this middle Nova piece, put the landing gear in there, and now this front Nova cowling isn't attached anymore. So undo that, and you'll see how this Hope-Tech riser just slots in, and that'll make sure that it's attached. Now again, you could use glitch methods or mod methods to make this a whole lot easier and probably, easier to attach some things. But I'm keeping it vanilla for those of you that don't want to do that. And then for their engines, you'll see how I'm copying and flipping these SA4330s. These have a similar slope to those Stroud caps, and so those just slot in and maintain a similar look along the wing. 28T Defender will fit right there on the side. It's kind of on the side of that hab piece, that 1x1. And that's it for the one side with the wings. Now we're just going to do the same thing on the other side. So copy and flip, and then copy and change the variant. Select both of these and copy them and put them one connector point forward, so we get that swept forward wing. Alright, now we can come over to our other side and actually copy all of these Nova cowlings. Just select them all, copy, bring them over to this side. Makes our life a lot easier. You can see how they connect there. And now for one last part of the wing. Copy and flip that variant. That, flip it a few times, there we go. And then we'll select both of, if I can get there, both of these Stroud Cap A's, put them one connector point forward. Just like that. And then again, select this entire portion, upper portion of these Nova cowlings and that Stroud Cap D, copy them, bump them down, and they'll connect right there. And then we just got to get our landing gear and our riser. So select both of those, copy them, delete out that middle Nova cowling. The landing gear slots in, and the Nova riser slots in right there. Now, we still have one more piece to connect, and then our weapons. So this equipment plate is what's going to allow us to attach our weapons to each of these slots here. So we're going to use a lot of these equipment plates. So I'm copying these quite a few times. And then I'm going to copy this one and we'll do the same thing on the other side. We need so many of these because we're using those Vanguard Obliterator auto projectors and the Hellfire autocannons, which we can use up to 6 of each of those weapons. And so that's 12 weapon slots that we need at a minimum, plus 3 more for the Obliterator turrets, so 15 total weapon connection points. It's quite a few. So I put these Obliterator auto projectors within each of those wings. And then the Hellfire autocannons, those Stroud Cap Ds that form kind of that spine or backbone of our wings, you see those have weapon mounts on the side, which is kind of cool. So we'll put one of those on each side and then another one right in front of each of those habs. Like I said, those are kind of like gunner stations there if you want them to be. Now we do need a couple more equipment plates to put on the back here for our turrets. You can have your turrets facing backwards. For this ship with its high mobility, you could go either way. You could face them forwards, just because you'll probably be outmaneuvering most enemy ships as it is. But it can be kind of nice, especially on harder difficulties. If You encounter 3 Starborn Guardians, max level Starborn Guardians, and they're disabling your engines. At least you're still dealing some damage. It gives you the fighter's chance to get out of that situation. So we've got these facing backwards, and then we'll put this last one underneath this back Nova cowling. It's one of the few pieces that has a weapon mount underneath. Let's go ahead and assign those weapons. I'm realizing I forgot to copy my engines over to the other side, so let's do that. Flip this, slot that behind the 1x1 hab and flip it one more time. There we go. So all that's left at this point is really putting on a coat of paint, which is completely up to you. Now, I used kind of the white with purple and yellow accents at the beginning of this video, but let's go ahead and do more of a Crimson Fleet color scheme for this. So we're going to start with a dark but not complete black for the whole thing. And then I'm going to pick out a red color here. Something that's not too bright, mostly saturated. And then what I like to do is select each of these nose caps. Select all 4 of them and just move them out of the way. And then what I can do is do a select all on these, which is just my right bumper on Xbox. I'm not sure what it is on, or sorry, left bumper on Xbox. Not sure what it is on PC. That'll select all these parts, including those tiny equipment plates, and then just I can color them all real quickly. Now when I do that, it looks a little bit bright, a little bit too pink for me, so I'm going to darken this up a little bit. I usually don't go full saturation just because it looks like a little bit too much like a crayon. I want it to look a little weathered. Then we'll grab these pieces and slot them back in. Now I also like to put a little bit of an accent on some other parts of the ship. So let's take a look at this for these Deimos spines. Put this on the secondary colorway. And then let's carry that up towards the cockpit. I don't want all of this to be red, but I'll just do some accents here. So on the cockpit, maybe let's do the secondary colorway here as well, get those stripes, and I like to make this a little bit more saturated and bright on the cockpit, just to draw your attention to that part of the ship. Again, completely up to you how you decide to style this. Just showing you how I did it. We'll do maybe the secondary color on the fuel tanks and get a little bit of red on the front nose there. And then for these Deimos wings, the secondary and tertiary colorways give you a nice stripe along the side, so I kind of like that. And that's basically it. You can choose to do something on the Nova Cross passageways if you want. Make those red, just to highlight those a little bit. That can be kind of nice too. But again, completely up to you. So that's the build. Let's do a quick interior walkthrough of the ship, just so you can see what that looks like. And then for those of you that like to do the place doors and ladders yourselves, you can kind of choose how you might want to do that as well. So for my build, you come in right to the armory. There's our ladder to our docker, as well as up to the second level. Here we've got kind of the 3x1 all-in-one, which has some beds, kind of a living space. And then behind that would be our computer core. And then just above this would be our control station. So So this is kind of the main working part of the ship. Control station right here, and then those Nova Cross passageways, which again I'd probably set up a little console space here and make this look like a little gunner station with those portholes. And finally up to the cockpit or bridge. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy this build. Again, don't forget to go vote. Take a look at the description of this video if you have trouble signing into Bethesda's Discord server. I've got some tricks noted there. And until next time, keep building.
Raise a cheer, the stars are near. On the Starwing we won't fear. With the word